Hi, I'm Barbara Higgins-Dover, and my project is animal symbolism. Animal symbolism as it is depicted through literature across time and across place and across culture. My thesis, in fact, reads Wendell Berry, the author of Entrance to the Woods, joins other storytellers from across the globe and among varied cultures in recognizing and expressing animal symbolism. Such works provide some of the most compelling cases for human expression of sameness. To elaborate just a bit, most animal creatures that you experience in literature that are predatory in nature, as those we'll talk about today, are seen oftentimes as in a negative light. We're going to take a look at how animals that are predatory creatures are seen in a positive light across many different cultures all around the world. We're first going to look at the bear, and we'll divide sections by animal and by culture within each animal category. For the Native Americans, the totem was an important symbol of who they are as a people. And on the totem, there are many sacred creatures in a hierarchy of importance. Those higher up are of greater importance to the Native American people. The bear depicts the idea of strength and power, and it has typically a very high placement on the Native American totem. It represents as well that of protector, courage, physical strength, and leadership. There's one particular story from the Cherokee tribe, the Bear Man. It's the story of a man who befriends a grizzly brown bear only to take and learn lessons in compassion and strength. The bear is feared for its ability to use its claws to destroy, and a man is feared for his ability to use a gun to kill an animal or an arrow. And so trust must be earned between the two. In that story, the bear man, they set off for a hunting excursion. The man sets off for a hunting excursion and is faced with his own mortality when the bear comes along, and the story unfolds. The Eurasian brown bear for the Russian people, Russian slash or Slavic culture, is a widespread symbol. In fact, the bear is a symbol for Russia. Early in 16th century, the bear definitely symbolized a Russian Empire, Soviet Union, and of course it still represents present-day Russian Federation. Oftentimes you can find the symbol of a bear in the stories and fairy tales of the Russian Slavic culture. One particular story, The Bear and the Nightingale, is a tale written by Catherine Arden, and it's about a young girl who faces loss and death and struggles with the hardships of a Russian winter until she learns some lessons in how to overcome obstacles by watching a bear who's faced with the harsh, cold winters that he must endure to survive after coming through his sleep. South America has actually one bear species, the Andean bear. It is the only species found in South America. And if you are in the South American part of the world, you'll find that the image of the Andean bear is seen over and over in a comical but friendly and loving way. Often it's animated, and if the name Paddington Bear sounds familiar, it's because the Andean bear was used as the symbol for Paddington Bear. In a book titled A Bear Called Paddington, written by Michael Bond, You'll find a tale of a lovable, friendly, and kind, warm little bear who struggles through everyday life as a human being would. It wears clothing and goes through daily tasks as a human would do. And so they're definitely, the Aegean bear is definitely personified throughout the tales in the series written by Michael Bond. I'm going to move on now to big cats. And I'm using the idea of big cats and not one particular cat because large cats, predatory species are vary depending on where you're at in the world. Let's consider the Native American people and how they view the cougar, which is a North American large cat. The Shawnee and the Seminole and other native tribes revere the cougar as a noble animal and powerful for its hunting medicine. They believe that it appears to humans as an animal spirit and a guide of leadership quality. There is an Apache legend titled The Fox and the Mountain Lion. In that story, the cat acts as a leader, guiding a fox on a journey of self-care. A fox appears to that cougar as being weak, thin, frail, with less strength than he. And it is the cougar or mountain lion's job to teach fox how to do all that he does in hunting and feeding and caring for himself. When we move to Africa, we see the lion is a huge part of the African culture and the symbolism of Africa. It can be found throughout place on countless pieces of art, many historical accounts of interactions with lions. It's found in carvings, on embroidered clothing of the African people. It is a symbol of royalty, strength and pride, wisdom and courage. The female lion, or the lioness, represents to the African people the moon, femininity, and of course, motherhood. In the story, based on African folklore, Lion King, a young lion named Simba battles his uncle Scar to claim the royal title as king after his father dies. It is a tale of strength and pride as Simba is faced with the wildebeest to survive that attempt on his life and to then move forward with taking the throne. In South America, the jaguar is revered. History suggests that the jaguar is something of a god, is something deserving to be worshipped in the South American culture. It represents power, ferocity, and valor, and he is an embodiment of aggressiveness among the people of South America. Today, you can still find jaguars as symbols on everything from incense burners to clothing and other items as well. In one tale titled The Jaguar and Little Skunk, this is a bit of folklore that you can find online. The author is unknown to me, but the jaguar acts as godfather to Little Skunk. It is his job to guide the skunk to adulthood. Jaguar takes Skunk on a hunting trip and teaches him everything he needs to know about survival. Now we're going to move on to snakes and how snakes are viewed in literature across the world. Among the Native American people, particularly the Hopi, people of North America will historically use the snake in ceremony. In one particular incident, they would use a snake as part of the celebration of union and increased fertility for the growth of crops. During that dance, they would use live snakes and handle them as they do their performance in full attire until, again, after the dance is complete, they would release those live snakes into their crops, into their production for increased fertility. And they are also seen as a symbol of fertility among the Pueblo. In the Ojibwa culture, the snake symbolizes a certain amount of healing due to its ability to shed skin and bring forth new life or rebirth. The snake appears as a spirit guide to the native people. And if you look at the Native American zodiac chart, you'll find that the snake represents, again, medicine and healing for its ability of rebirth and shedding of skin. Snakes in Africa, well, historically, they represent the idea of fertility. Again, they are seen as a creative force among most African people. Once again, their ability to slough off and shed their skin stands for the symbol of rebirth and renewed transformation, healing. If we think about it for a moment, the snake symbolizes in our own culture medicine and healing. It is wrapped around a staff to represent the field of medicine. In one particular African folktale titled The Snake's Second Skin, the snake partners with a chameleon and teaches the chameleon a thing or two about just who is the superior creature. The snake, with its ability to shed its skin, never ages, nor does it wrinkle. The chameleon may be able to change color in different circumstances, but it certainly can't give itself rebirth. And so the story of the snake's second skin teaches the chameleon a thing or two about who is the superior being. In the Russian Slavic culture, historically, we can find that the snake appears in many different ways, and sometimes that of fear or evil. But there are a lot of stories in the Russian Slavic culture where children are told tales about learning lessons of non-judgmental attitude and acceptance for other people, not basing that acceptance on the physical appearance or outward appearance. It is in our human nature, in fact, to be somewhat taken off or by surprised, and maybe some even a little fearful of the idea of a snake. And so to use a snake as a way of accepting individuals not based on their outward appearance is a perfect match. And so you'll find that is done a lot, over and over in children's tales. Russian fables, for example. There's one titled The Snake's Prophecy, where a snake and farmer meet up with one another. The farmer in his daily work is confronted by a snake on his property, and the snake teaches him lessons in forgiveness as the farmer learns a lesson or two about, again, coming to realize that the snake's appearance on his property in his fields isn't bringing harm, but in fact he is just one of the cycle of nature. And eventually the farmer sees the snake in a more positive and different light. Moving on to wolves. The symbol of wolves in Native America is very, very strong. In most of native cultures, they are considered to be ancestor spirits. They are a sign of strength and loyalty. And of course, they are they stand for success on hunting trips, and you'll find in a lot of Native American garb the symbol of a wolf. Many Native people, doesn't matter what tribe, will see the wolf as godlike almost. Again, that they themselves had descended from the wolf, who is the spirit of their ancestors. There is a Pawnee creation myth where the wolf is viewed as the first creature to have experienced death. And some tribes, in fact, believe that the wolf's howling at the moon is something of a spiritual encounter that empowers magic and mystery. There's a tale, the Winnebago and the Wolves, which comes from the Ojibwa oral tradition, and it is an account of a human-wolf interaction that takes place on a hunting trip together. Early in the story, a human experiences a pack of wolves and refers to them as his nephews. And in this story, it is a tale of lessons in survival and appreciation for all that there is. In Africa, the golden wolf is symbolic. It is just known and referred to as the golden wolf of northeastern Africa. It is seen as something also as medicinal, and in some cases, it is often regarded as being a god. I have wanted to share a particular Ethiopian poem with you about the golden wolves, and this is written by an unknown author. He is the most lean, elegant, graceful wolf you'll ever see. Magnificent chestnut coat, white markings, alert, sharp features, the most beautiful wolf to ever be. The Russian wolf. In Russian and Slavic cultures, the wolf is frequently seen as an insignia on images that symbolize the Chechenian nation. Throughout their culture, you'll find common poses where the wolf is in a stance that is howling from the top of a mountain. It is seen by the Russian and Slavic peoples as a symbol of pride. The wolf, often as a totem animal, in old Slavic times, is seen as a mythical ancestor of the Russian people. And it played quite a significant role, as it still does, in the Slavic mythologies and folklores that we can find. It's seen as a spiritual ancestor or a deity. Associated with the wolf is Horus, who is the god of the moon. Given long-standing association of wolves with the moon, a lunar deity would often be tied to the spirit of the wolf. And in conclusion, I'd like to reiterate what I said from the beginning, that there's a sameness of how people across the globe view different predatory animals, in particular, animals that in nature we often tend to fear. Throughout place and time, we can find them revered and viewed in a positive light. In many instances, across time and place, you can find a difference of opinion regarding animal symbolism, where the predator, such as those we've considered today, snake, wolf, the bear, they're often seen in a negative light. However, positive stories and poems, and sometimes even songs, and as in the case of the native people, dance, we can find them as a very positive symbol. That indicates a sameness that reflects a stronger image of this animal's place in our world. And this sameness can be found time and time again across culture. Thank you.